Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today I have the fourth group of the 5 best watches in the world. And I'm beyond wondering why I talk about groups of 5 as these 5 are the best, because I think I can go find 5 best ones no matter what I do. But I like to keep them together, and each one has its own sort of day in the sun, so to speak. To get started, the first one I want to look at is this Tourbillon Chiming Jump Hour by Rexheppy from Acravia. Now, I met Rexhepp a few years ago at the Watch Time show in New York. A great guy, and I was talking to him about the lower. He had the watch he had at the time was 2.5 hertz, and I was noticing all of the good ones were all 2.5 hertz, all the top ones, I should say. And he was one of the guys I interviewed along with Kerry Voutilanen and Marco Lang during that period. I did a little video on it some time back. Anyhow, since then, he has won, which is, I think, one of the most important Grand Prix prizes, and that's the men's prize. It's important because the competition is so stiff, and he won it. So he's really quite a watchmaker, very innovative. Now this watch from Acravia is one of his current ones, and what's unique about it is the combination of a tourbillon with a digital jumping hour. It's just, I'm not sure how they did it. He also has something there too that's sort of cool. Is it's sort of like a backward brigade type of hand, or actually backward Derek Pratt type of hand with the big moon at the base, and then the stick or needle sort of going out to the time on the side. This one is manually wound, 100 hours. The balance wheel is 11.6 millimeters. Now, a lot of times you don't get the size of the balance wheel, but usually a big balance wheel indicates a lot more stability, so I like that. Perhaps my favorite guy with the big balance wheel is Kerry Voutilanen, and he has a lot of them. He's also won tons of awards, too. Okay, this next one is by another, a very interesting watchmaker named Christian Klings. Christian Klings is from Dresden, Germany. And a lot of when we think of German watches, we tend to think of Glashütte. And, I mean, Alllange and Moritz Grossmann, you name it, not all of it, but a lot of them are there. But Dresden has some of the classiest watchmakers, I think, in Germany. Marco Lang is there, both his own company as well as his former company that he made all the watches for, Lang & Heim. Stefan Kadoki is there. Rolf Lang is there. I mean, it seems that there's something in the water that makes the guys in Dresden have these special watches. Now, this one, there are a lot of them that Christian Klings had, but he's one of the guys who spends a lot of time with the details of escapements and really trying to do a lot. He's done a lot of stuff with detent escapements, but this one was called the Mosquito. And I thought, what? Why would a watch, where did that name come from? So I was reading, he says the body of the pivoted detent is cut out of a synthetic jewel. All of the jewels we see in a watch are synthetic, and this is simply one that's shaped for this. I said the remaining part of the jewel is just a thin stripe. The outside radius provides concentric design. The remaining hole of the jewel is fitted with the arbor of a pivoted detent. I hope you follow me on this, because I have no idea what is going on. The tent is so small and light, like a mosquito. That's where the name comes from. This is used in shock, for the shock, helping with the shock absorbers. I'm not quite sure how, but it's one of the things, if you go take a look at his watches, he's got a lot of different ones that he's doing different and interesting things with the escapement, working on that a lot. Now, this next one has been an all-time favorite of mine for years. Right now, circling around 60,000 bucks, way out of my solar system, so to speak, out of my galaxy, really, price-wise. But I've always liked it. This is by Michel Parmigiani. It's called the Ovale Pantographe. The pantograph is these telescoping hands that go in and out. And on an oval shape, where you have between the 6 and the 12, they can stretch out. And between the 9 and the 3, they got to go in. And so as the watch turns around, these hands are going to fit the shape. I just think that's the coolest thing. The only other place that I've seen, the only other watch I've seen this kind of configuration on, there may be more. A few years ago in New York, I was at the Patek Philippe, had a show there, and in the history of Patek Philippe, and they had one that had the telescopic hands. This is 3 hertz, and it's on top of a Michel Parmigiani movement called the PF-110, which was really the first one he made. This is a fabulous movement. That's also referred to as hebdomadaire, which is 8-day movement. And so adding a module for the telescoping hands, it was now the PF-111. It was a cool movement to begin with, and then adding that to it. I've always liked it. This is one of my favorite watches. I think it's one of the best watches around. Now, this next one, another one, a Recital 22 Grand Recital by Beauvais. I should say Beauvais 1822. And when Beauvais was sort of resurrected, and not sort of, but absolutely resurrected by Pascal Raffi back in the early 2000s, he went and he wanted to make it just like the original in the best ways, in the best possible ways. So he bought a number of companies that were doing things with making movements and so forth, put it together as a group, and he called them Demiere. So you have 2 sort of sides to Beauvais. There's Beauvais 1822, and then there's Demiere 17-something or other. I forgot what it is. This is this incredible watch that came out of that. It's got a 2.5 hertz frequency, 3 hertz. In 2018, it won its first award at the Grand Prix, was the Aiguille d'Or, which is just amazing. It took Audemars Piguet something like, I don't know, 10 or 11 prizes, and 20 years, they finally won it. This was one of the early ones they put up for that. This is a great watch. It's got hours, retrograde minutes, seconds on the double-face flying tourbillon, precision moon phase, retrograde double-sided date, a 9-day power reserve with a single barrel and a retrograde perpetual calendar on the back. It's just like, this is a one-watch collection. Wonderful, wonderful watch. You could just sit and look at that thing all day and be a happy watch collector. This next one, first of all, I'm terrible at pronouncing anything other than English, and some people say that there's some issues with that as well. This is the Sauterelle heure mondiale. Now, what that means is world time grasshopper. It's another interesting name for a watch. Now, one of the things, Andreas Streller is top-notch watchmaker, and a few years ago, he worked with Maurice Lacroix when they were trying to develop their movement. So he's a cool guy, too. I mean, he just doesn't go off, and I'm not going to tell you guys anything. So anyway, he has this watch with the world time grasshopper. But the thing about it that I like about this watch and a lot of other kinds of watches by top watchmakers is a remontoire d'égalité. And some years ago, I'd asked Stephen Forsey, how come more people don't do it? And he says, because it's really hard. And so, and he's right. When you look at sort of the big name brands, even the top ones, you don't see them using remontoire égalités. You only find it in these very talented watchmakers like Andreas Streller, like F.P. Join, all of them, like Grubel and Forsey. They all have this kind of feature, Groenfeld. So it's the kind of thing, to me, is sort of like a mark of really a top-notch watchmaker. It used to be Tourbillon, but now it seems that everybody sort of made a Tourbillon just to show that they could do it. But here's another watch that's just, again, one of the best in the world. Okay, well, I'd be very interested in your opinions, any comments you have, and you can, if you can correct my French, I would appreciate it wherever possible. So, in the meantime, this is an opportunity to subscribe if you'd like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection. Remember, I'd love to hear your comments.